as content creators, I get sometimes we can over-dramatize things. Some of the verbiage we can use can be a little hyperbolic, if you will. We're trying to draw the attentions. We're trying to get click-through rates. We're trying to keep people engaged, right? Which I know can detract when there's genuinely someone in here when we want to say something like, could be the steal of the 2023 draft class. I got to tell you, we just let TJ Edwards walk in free agency. It would be nice to have another one of these feel-good stories of a developmental prospect that the Eagles, bring in homegrown, and we have Nakobe Dean kind of waiting in the wings for that storyline. I got another name for you I want to talk about today, guys. Johnny Buchanan, inside linebacker, off-ball stacked, University of Delaware. Let's get it. What's up, Cerebral football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. This is a young man that, boy, when you go turn the film on and when you start looking into him, he stands out, man. This is a very athletically gifted guy. And we know that, generally speaking, I really think of the athletically gifted guys. I really think more so towards the weak side, what they do with the will linebacker spot on the Eagles. I mean, you have guys like Nicholas Morrow, who's a really good athlete. You had guys like last year, Kaiser White, who was a really gifted athlete. You got Davion Taylor, who's a gifted athlete. You have Christian Ellis, another one who's a really gifted athlete, right? Alex Singleton was a pretty good athlete himself. However, Johnny Buchanan is one of these guys as a stacked linebacker. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do here because primarily he played towards the strong side, or what we call the left inside linebacker spot. He's got the flexibility to play basically on the boundary, to play the field side, to play the strong side, the weak side. None of that stuff really matters. I think he's athletically gifted enough to play all of it, but he is a little different from an athletic standpoint from what we're used to. First off, let's go over it. This is another sub 6 foot, sub 230-pound linebacker that I'm bringing to your attention. I know what you're saying, man. Like, yo, Gate, I get it. The Eagles, too, they do seem to throw caution to the wind when it comes to these type of players. But, man, at some point, when are they going to take a prototypical linebacker? The short to that guy's, I don't know. However, this young man is 5'11", 228 pounds, 30.375-inch arm reach, 74.875-inch wingspan. We're going to get into more of the measurements in a minute because there's definitely some elements to that measurement standpoint that are a little concerning. However, let's talk about the athletic testing here. The majority of the sites that I see who are reporting on Delaware's Pro Day said that this young man put up a 4.58, somewhere in the 4.5s. 4.58 is the most common time I'm hearing referred to. 40. With a 1.56.10 split, a 2.58.20 split, 22 bench reps, a 40-inch vertical, a 127-inch broad jump, a 7.293 cone, and a 4.46 20-yard or short shuttle. Guys, let me run over those explosive traits for you again. 1.56.10 split, 40-inch vertical, 127-inch broad jump. Man, the minute that this young man threw that kind of number up, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Jets all invited him to their local pro day. Each of these organizations has their own local pro day where they'll bring in prospects from the local area that qualify. They have to qualify for this, so they either had to go to school within a certain geographic distance from the city in which you play in, or they had to have grown up and lived in an area, okay, in order to qualify for that status, if you will. With that said, this young man, the testing it's outstanding, guys. I mean, it's ridiculous how well this young man is tested. Production. You go pull up FCS and FBS, bring them together, FBS and FCS, bring it together, and then qualify where this young man stood. He was the 20th highest graded linebacker on their entire list. And I know that grades are very subjective, but they are impartial, and people like this young man's game a lot. Just to talk about what I saw here. On PFF, they didn't credit him with 150 tackles. I'm not sure what's going on there, but on the UD football site itself, they got him as 150, leading all FCS linebackers. All right? Tackles for loss, 8.5. 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovered. This dude tied the UD, the University of Delaware record, for 23 tackles in a game versus Navy. Followed that up with a 19 tackle performance at William and Mary, and then had like a 17 tackle performance, I think it was against Elon, which is a school that's 30 minutes from my house, to be honest. This young man is a tremendous tackling machine. And it's a little hard to talk about it because his missed tackle rate, guys, he just doesn't really miss tackles. I want to say it's 6% missed tackle rate. He's up there with Dayon Henley, who Dayon Henley just doesn't miss tackles. It's 5% for Dayon Henley. I mean, this guy's up here with the best of the best linebackers in this class. Ivan Pace Jr., who's another under-the-radar guy. He's right there with an Ivan Pace Jr. Jack Campbell and Drew Sanders and Dayon Henley. Johnny Buchanan is right there with them. Here's the thing. Why is this young man not being mentioned where he should be mentioned? Why is his name not being sung and praised about the way that some of these other prospects are? Guys, it's in the measurements. The prototypical NFL linebacker, what most clubs look for, is 6'2", 235 pounds plus, with a 32-inch plus arm reach. That's what most NFL organizations are looking for from the physical measurement standpoints, and then you have to kind of play around with and plug in the numbers they want from the testing. So what their 10 splits would be, how they handle lateral movement drills, all that kind of stuff, guys. So when you look at Johnny Buchanan, he's a sub 6 foot, sub 230 pound, sub 32-inch arm reach, off-ball stacked linebacker, and that is clearly going to hurt your value. And I just want to make a point here, guys. I tracked 9 linebackers with the Philadelphia Eagles, 9 linebackers that have recently been brought in, whether it was through free agent signing, drafting. Of those 9 linebackers, we've drafted 3 of them. Davion Taylor, Nakobe Dean, and Sean Bradley. And I just want you to listen to the numbers here, okay? Height. Davion Taylor is 6'1", weighs 228 pounds. Nakobe Dean is about 5'11", weighs about 230 pounds. 229 is what he technically measured in at. Sean Bradley is 6'1", weighs about 235 pounds. What I will tell you is that the Eagles will venture into the under 6'2", the sub 6'2", and the sub 235 level. But most of these dudes are around at least 6 foot. They're right around 6 foot and around 230 pounds. That's kind of the benchmark, if you will, here. All right, which if you go to Johnny Buchanan, you can say, well, he's 5'11", 228. He's right there with Nakobe Dean in terms of the measurements. Okay, here's the difference though. Davion Taylor, 32.13-inch arm reach. Nakobe Dean, 31.875 inches, 31 7/8, an eighth short of 32-inch arm reach. And Sean Bradley, 31 3/4, 31.75-inch arm reach. Now let's go look at Buchanan's. Johnny Buchanan's is 30.375-inch arm reach. Who is the shortest arm reach guy the Philadelphia Eagles have projected on their roster of recent? It's Eric Wilson. 6'1", 230, 30.25-inch arm reach. Besides Eric Wilson, who's the other guy that was kind of down there in terms of the arm reach level, well, the next guy is a full, it's basically you're talking about a full inch difference in the arm reach here. And that's TJ Edwards, who was 6 foot, sub 6'2", 230 pounds, so sub 235 pounds, 31.25-inch arm reach, so sub 32-inch arm reach. That's where I think that the story could be really interesting, man. Johnny Buchanan's tape is very impressive. This young man, he can play the game of football. Just like TJ Edwards, he did not measure out the prototypical NFL size. He didn't measure out as a 6'2", 235 with 32-inch arm reach. That's not his measurements. TJ's a little bit more well-built, though. TJ really failed himself in terms of the athletic testing. He kind of failed himself in the athletic testing, and I think teams kind of missed the forest for the trees on TJ, and TJ should have been drafted. But teams looked at that athletic testing and said, we don't want no part of it. When I look at Johnny Buchanan, will the Eagles draft him? Potentially as a day 3 pick. Look, 7th round, 6th round, whatever. If they end up finding their way towards a 6th round pick somehow or 7th round, use one of their 2 7th round picks, sure, I could see that. But I think the real magic here is you're getting a chance to see this guy. You're getting to see him up close and personal. If he becomes an undrafted rookie free agent, this could be your next developmental TJ Edwards. He's sub 6 foot. He's sub 235 pounds. He's sub 32-inch arm reach, but he's also a 4.58 40 guy with a 1.56 10 split, a 40-inch vertical, and 127-inch broad jump. Okay? He's also the 20th highest graded linebacker at the FCS and FBS levels combined. This dude doesn't miss tackles. He had 150 tackles on the season. Of those, 63 were solo, 87 were assisted tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 23 tackles in a game at one point. I mean, We'll see, guys. This is an interesting prospect, man. Once again, Johnny Buchanan, linebacker, University of Delaware. I'm interested to see what happens with this young man. I think this is a very talented player, but he doesn't have the prototypical measurements you look for at the position. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all on the next video.